I almost forgot something. Um, Aside from the selective hearing, so um, I was watching The Purge, all the purges, and I finally realized the difference between the movies. So the first movie showed a man that's in the purge who pretty much provides the security systems for other people who want to survive the purge. Home security, house defense systems. A very rich, wealthy guy. So, like we have here in America, there's your low class, middle class, and your I'm gonna call it the business and politician class, because let's be honest, they are the ones who pretty much run this world. So the first movie was about a guy who um and I also saw a video on this on the infographic show. I'm gonna do my best to remember what they were saying, because it's kind of funny how I saw the movie, then I got bored, and then started watching videos on Facebook, and the infographic show just magically talked about it. But honestly, infographics show, they are pretty freaking informative. Like they talk about just random like questions that you have on your mind that only the mythbusters might be able to answer for you. And then they also talk about some very serious stuff, or like some what if scenarios, like what if the purge was real, which I think it was way back in Greece or Rome or something like that. But anyways, moving forward, um uh so the first movie was about a guy who was relatively rich. He was a businessman, business class, and he had a business that provides security systems to other purge people who wants to survive it. So he lived in a gated community where the gated community is protected by his business, and his neighbors inside that gated community is pretty much, they're also protected by his business, his research, his development. So they're pretty much paying this man to indirectly paying this man to live in their gated community, whether they realize it or not. When a purge happens, they try to go after him because it's envy. It's like you're pretty much living off of uh, you're pretty much living, off of our income and services, and it's kind of fucked up that we're pretty much helping you survive the own purge. So his neighbors pretty much try to kill him. Uh, a homeless man from the lower class stumbled upon his residence. They broke into the gated community and was asking for help. I guess he was being chased by other people, and they wanted to kill him for sheer fun and enjoyment. Um, Long story short, when it comes to the Purge series, um, that is the upper class pretty much being protected, and you know businesses being protected by laws that politicians make and everything like that. Almost a form of neoliberalism. So there are bailouts, sellouts, the whole entire nine. And you know, when you have an event like the Purge, you know, just like we have Christmas, just like we have Halloween, you have a business that focuses on a consumer to buy your products. So therefore, if it benefits the economy, you're more than likely to be protected by these laws and politics. Then in the second Purge movie, it was about the working class, low class. And in that movie, you know, this lady, she had a sick father or a sick grandfather, and no matter how much she works, no matter, you know, she never got a raise at her waitress job at a diner. You know, it was a day away from the Purge. So long story short, her father sold himself to rich people for, I don't know if it was, yeah, I think it was for $100,000. And you know, he said that he sold himself just so he could pretty much leave them with something, you know, behind. And you know, as soon as he turned himself over, the money was instantly transferred to his account, to their account. So some people, the rich people, profit off of these poor people. They prey on the sick, they prey on the weak, and they have fun with their purge. In the movie, they meet some dude with a freaking armored out freaking Mustang, I think, or a Charger, I don't know, but that shit was fucking sick. And then in the third Purge movie, it was about the middle class. The middle class had some fucking errand to do. They traveled in a ghetto or something like that, and they said that we're not supposed to be here, we're not protected. So it makes you think. It makes you think about what's going on here and now. You know, here we are in the middle of fucking Bridgeport, New Haven, you know, Detroit, or wherever you're from, you know, wherever, if you're watching this video, you know, the businesses and governments protect their own. They protect their own, and they disregard the interests of the lower class. So these middle class people, you know, get stuck, you know, like hours before the purge starts. You know, these guys in you know, in a black van and mask and dirt bikes, you know, they're like looking at them, just, they're not doing anything, they're just staring at them, and it turns out that they sabotaged their vehicle. So on the way to their nice sheltered, you know, there's no such thing as racism, there's no such thing as inequality, very sheltered lifestyle, their vehicle breaks down because of the sabotage, and then all hell fucking breaks loose. And I keep forgetting his fucking name, but his name was Omar from The Wire, and he also played a cameo role as a professor in a show called Community with Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, and you know, Chevy Chase and all that stuff. But anyways, he was pretty much the man that, freedom fighter, thank you, oh my god. So he becomes a freedom fighter, and in that last movie, they pretty much ended the reign of the forefathers, that created a new nation for America. So they started the purge and they ended the purge. And looking at this movie, I try to see both sides. I really do. Um, there's always pros and cons to everything, and the only thing that I gathered from the whole entire series is that everyone had a job, whether it was a shitty job or a really nice job. Everyone was guaranteed a job. That aside, it's fucked up. I mean, a human life is a human life, you know what I mean? So all that aside, I'm taking what's going on in The Purge and comparing it to what's going on, and I don't think there will ever be. I mean, hypothetically, theoretically, low key, it would be nice to have a purge, but that's just hypothetically speaking, though. But anyways, but still, it's kind of similar to what's going on now. You know, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Tax this, tax that. We're gonna tax it. We're gonna tax your fucking taxes. We're gonna tax you for not having health care. And the main point to this video, honestly, I don't know why I started with the purge. I mean, I guess it's the best example that I could give, but so the previous video was selective hearing. So we hear what we want to hear. We see things. We see what's going on. We see our future leaders. We see our future defenders, and we hear what they're saying, and we pick what side that we want to align with. And with that selective hearing comes the divide, because we're not really hearing both sides. We're just hearing what we want to hear. So in this constant battle between me and the other fellow lower class, and the argument between the fellow middle class, and the argument between the two rich, powerful guys, girls, or non-binary, cisgender, I don't fucking know. We're going to have that fight. We're going to have that divide. And when we have that divide, laws are being made to take away our rights. Whether taking away that right that was always there to begin with, or adding that right that would benefit one faction or another, eventually the majority, I don't know who the majority will be, but maybe both sides of the coin, like I said, let's be honest, it's Republican and Democrat. There are more sides, but as long as we live, we're just going to choose those two sides and those two sides only. Both sides would eventually get fed up, and there's going to be total chaos and mayhem. This riot, aside from politics and Trump, because someone needs to be blamed, so clearly you're gonna fucking blame you're gonna blame Trump. So, but even though it was just a cop or a few cops over time, you know, but we just had to blame him. The first cop killing was few. Our voices were heard, but it was selectively heard. Then a second, then a third, and whether this guy was innocent or not, he died. And it wasn't just America, but it was a whole fucking world. Damn. Holy shit. That is powerful. And I think when the whole world acted out the way it did, will I ever riot? No, I will never riot. I will never protest. It's a sticky situation. I just rather play my Xbox, man. I just rather play my fucking Xbox. But what I'm trying to get at is the world will eventually have enough of the bullshit. And when you keep fucking with someone's life, they're eventually going to snap. I'm going to use myself for an example. I have no kids. I'm not married. Everything I own, all the houses that I've owned, every car that I have, it's all superficial. When I die, it's not going to come with me. Despite the challenges against me in this world, as far as racism goes, inequality and all that shit, and if you fuck with me and you take something away that I hold dear, whether it's for revenge or if it's for the sheer power and control, if I have nothing to lose, but everything to gain, whether it's a good gain or a bad gain, if I have nothing to lose, who is going to... I'm going to be stopped eventually, but I know for a fact that I will be remembered for the guy who fucked with me, for the guy who had nothing to lose. People will see that. They will understand that. From the low class to the middle class to the upper class, they're going to see that. They're going to use me as an example and probably do their best to stop fucking with a human being and let people live their lives. It's going to be years from now. It's going to be decades. It's going to be centuries. Who the fuck knows when it's going to happen? Whether it's going to be me, whether it's going to be someone else. But I think the last thing that any business, workplace, politician, country, national security, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, O.J. Simpson, the last thing they want is to come across a person who has nothing to lose. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Fear for myself, I hope, and I'm afraid that I hope it won't come to that. And I'm also afraid it will come to that. I don't want to see anyone that I love come to that. I don't want to see myself come to that. I don't want to see anyone that has nothing to lose. Because when someone has nothing to lose, people, places, or things will go with that person because they just give no fucks. I think people should give a fuck.